Craig and Sarah would also like to remember several of the qualities embodied by their grandmothers that they hope will be part of Rena Margolit's life.
So there's a few things about my grandmother that I hope Riley can, that pass through from my grandmother to my mother to me to Riley. And the first is what my mom was alluding to, which is unconditional love. My grandmother put her family before everyone else, before everything else. And I think that's a quality that, at least since she's my daughter, I hope she puts her family at high priority. The second is kind of a combination of two things, which is honesty and sense of humor. My grandmother is very direct, and she really, didn't like to sugarcoat things. And sometimes it would be funny, and sometimes it would be a little bittersweet when she told it like it really was. And I think that's a quality that you have to use with a lot of care because you need to be sensitive to other people. But I hope that Riley is honest and when she needs to tell someone something difficult, maybe adds a little bit of humor, but I hope that she's a direct, good communicator like my grandmother was. And the third is a fighter. My grandmother had a long and challenging life, and I hope that Riley's challenges are nowhere near what my grandmother had to live through, but I hope that the spirit and the perseverance that my grandmother had that got her out of Europe and reunited her with all of her kids is passed on to my daughter.
And I would say, besides being a great baker of mine, my grandma was, I have three qualities. Well, Sarah and I didn't rehearse this at all, but one of the traits I picked also was fighter. That I only knew her towards her later stages of life, and whatever ailments came her way, she never whined about it. At least to me, that she persevered through many, I guess, the growing pains as you mature, and she lived to be 90 plus, so that was impressive. I guess I would say friends. She had neighbors as friends, family, an outside family she'd call regularly, or meet with regularly. She, all the way up until the very end, she was very engaged in many different lives. And my dad alluded to fun. I mean, I knew her. She would always have arranged card games, and she would watch Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy. And she was playful as long as she could remain seated at the table. Those are some of the attributes that would be wonderful if Riley shared them.
Yeah, well, I guess one thing we should both of us should his grandma, my mom, is here vicariously through the recipe, the cookies that you're going to enjoy from her.
Great. Well, I want to say a little bit about the name too. So Rena is a Yiddish name, which means clean or pure. The qualities of being clean and pure call to mind Psalm 24, which our tradition teaches us that King David composed. Who may ascend the mountain of God, and who may establish the place of his holiness? One with clean hands and a pure heart. As Rena Margolit grows and develops, it is my blessing that she will bring clean hands and a pure heart to the pursuit of a virtuous life and good work. Clean hands represent the purity of our intentions as we do our work. A pure heart is who we are when we are using our special gifts and talents to the service of a greater good. Margalit is a Hebrew name for pearl. Pearls were precious stones of great value in biblical times. In Proverbs, we are instructed that wisdom is of greater value than even pearls. And we are reminded in the proverb that is traditionally sung to women on Friday evening, a woman of worth, her price is far above pearls. There is a midrash, too, that reports that Abraham wore a pearl around his neck, and whenever anyone saw it, they were healed. It is my blessing for Marguerite that she will know her own value and be valued by friends and, most importantly, family. In combining these two names, Craig and Sarah, you communicate to Rena Marguerite a message of cultivating a clean, pure heart as she develops into a person of value to herself and her community. May she grow into that woman of worth. May the memory of her Jewish grandmothers be a powerful model for her Jewish life. May Rena Marguerite grow strong, steadfast in her opinions and beliefs, with a lightness of spirit, an ease and comfort, knowing her place in the Jewish community. And I would like us all to read together. There's a poem by the Israeli poet Zelda, and it's been translated by an American Jewish poet, Margaret Falk. So let us all read together. Each of us has a name, given by the source of life and given by our parents. Each of us has a name, given by our stature and our smile, and given by what we wear. Each of us has a name, given by the mountains and given by our walls. Each of us has a name, given by the stars and given by our neighbors. Each of us has a name, given by our sins and given by our longing. Each of us has a name, given by our enemies and given by our love. Each of us has a name, given by our celebrations and given by our work. Each of us has a name, given by the seasons and given by our blindness. Each of us has a name, given by the sea and given by our death. So this poem ends on a slightly sad note, but of course we all know how Jewish it is, that there's a mixture of joy and sadness. And of course, as we remember the beautiful women after whom Marguerite is named, Rena Marguerite is named, there's all that sadness is with us too. But we want to quickly move to joy because it is a special simcha to name a child. And of course, Jews celebrate with wine. It's a characteristic of joy. So I am going to ask if we can get some Manischewitz.
Oh, yes, we forgot to do that. Manischewitz.
I like it.
No, your mother's busy.
We should all remember how Grandma used to mix the manischewitz.
What did she mix it with?
The good one.
Oh, the good one. So that was Irene. That was Raina.
Yeah.
Irene, yeah.
I actually like the name Rena Marguerite a lot.
Oh, I do.
Rena Marguerite, yeah.
Very pretty,
It's
almost as nice as Riley Pearl.
A little more Jewish than Riley Pearl.
Nice Irish name.
So you'll say the blessing.
Which one? Baruch
Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
Nay.
Once before we drank from this cup in a time of joy at our wedding, we now drink again, celebrating the joy of this new life, the continuation of our lives and the fruit of our love.
And that was the glass you drank out of.
I was so glad to hear that.
Well, anyway, it would be the same kind of wine.